What up, everyone? Welcome back to Knicks in 4, where we talk everything Knicks. I'm your host, Ayers. If you're new to the channel and you're enjoying what you're watching, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's get into it. So, quick video today. Just wanted to share my thoughts on Josh Hart's first 2 games as a member of the New York Knicks. And man, what a couple of games it has been. Now, I believe he's exceeded expectations in my book, and he has already managed to capture the heart, pun intended, of Knicks fans. So what we're going to do today is a few things. We're going to take a look at an article highlighting the details of his performances thus far. And we're also going to discuss the question of whether or not we can consider moving Josh Hart to the starting lineup or perhaps have him continue to come off the bench. So let's take a look at an article from EmpireSportsMedia.com. Knicks Josh Hart shines in team debut versus Jazz. New York Knicks recently acquired guard Josh Hart made his highly anticipated debut with the team Saturday against the Utah Jazz, and he did not disappoint one bit. Playing approximately 25 minutes off the bench in the 126-120 victory against Utah, Hart finished with a fantastic all-around stat line, scoring 11 points, snagging 7 rebounds, dishing 4 assists, swiping 4 steals, and hitting 2 3-pointers in the win. "I'm a dog," Hart said after the win Saturday. "I'll do what it takes. That's just me." And he absolutely is a dog. I mean, again, he exceeded expectations in my book, but I mean, the performance that he put up against the Jazz. Now, while you look at, the statistics in terms of the scoring, 11 points is nothing to, go crazy about, but he managed to impact the game in every single facet. Scoring at the right time. Now, it's not so much the 11 points in totality. It's the fact that he hit 2 clutch 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, which in my mind were the most important points and most important possessions of the game. So he had his 11 points, right, when it counted. Had 7 rebounds. Again, bringing Josh Hart, that was one of the skills that we were anticipating bringing aboard, somebody who can rebound the ball very well at an extremely high level. And he has managed to do that thus far. So 7 rebounds, 4 assists, again, 4 steals and the 3-pointers in the fourth quarter and clutch moments. So this was an all-around game from Josh Hart. I mean, what more can you ask for? And he's a dog, as he mentioned. Now, the Knicks have always, in the last few seasons, struggled with guys that maybe didn't give enough hustle or in questioning their toughness. And when you're looking at Josh Hart out there, he's just operating on a different level. He has the mental toughness. He has the tenacity. He has the hustle. He has the high basketball IQ. And I believe Tom Thibodeau mentioned, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines that Josh Hart just has a nose for the ball. Like he can just sniff where the ball is going to bounce, where it's going to land. That's a skill that you can't really teach. It's either something you naturally have or you don't. And he naturally has that ability. I mean, as soon as the ball bounces off the rim off a miss, you just see Josh Hart coming out of nowhere. And again, he's a guard, a pretty, larger than average size guard. Yeah, but he's not any, tall, big guy that can be able to take rebounds away from big men. And he's managing to do that. And this is not, some anomaly. He's doing this every game. The 4 assists, managing to assist guys. One thing I noticed about in terms of his assisting was how well he worked with the second unit, getting a fast break pass to Obi Toppin for a dunk. Just being able to move in and out of the team, no matter if he's with the bench players or if he's with the starters. He just a plug-and-play guy. He doesn't need to even know the playbook. You just put him out there, and he'll make stuff happen. He'll make plays happen. And, the 4 steals. When is the last time you've seen any Knick had that many steals, especially in that first game with the team? And, of course, the 2 3-pointers at the end of the game, which were huge. I think it would put us in the lead, and it may give us a comfortable lead moving forward to that win. Now, fast forward to tonight's game against the Nets. Knicks' Tom Thibodeau on how Josh Hart impacts winning. His competitive spirit is special. In just his second game with the Knicks, Josh Hart scored a season high of 27 points on 10 for 14, shooting off the bench to help his new team take down the Nets on Monday night, 124-106. Now, in the first game, he gave you an all-around stat sheet, but he wasn't so much there with the scoring. So he said, you know what? You guys think that I'm just going to put up maybe 10 points a game, 12 points a game? Hold my beer. I'm going to dish out 27 points. And I believe he was the second highest scorer behind Jalen Brunson, who had a 40-point game tonight. Shout outs to Jalen. And this is sort of an example that highlights the potential of what Josh Hart can bring to this team. If you need him to get the hustle plays, get the 50-50 balls, he can do that. If you need him to just play, tough as nails defense, he can do that. You need him to rebound, he can do that. You need him to score, perhaps. Maybe you're not getting, maybe quickly he's having an off night shooting. You need him to score, he can do that as well. And I don't think this is something that we seen coming, especially his first and second game with the Knicks. I mean, he is balling. Hart also already displayed the impact he can bring to a team, recording 38 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals over 2 games for New York since being acquired from the Portland Trail Blazers at the trade deadline. So yeah, these 2 games have been stellar. What a debut for any person coming to a team for the first couple of games. After the win, head coach Tom Thibodeau spoke about the chemistry that Hart and Jalen Brunson have, dating back to their college days together, and went on to explain how Hart can be the glue of your team. This is what I mentioned in my previous video on how we made a move for a glue guy. Of course, we all wanted to do the sexy move, go out and get a Anunoby or whoever was on the radar, maybe somebody that we didn't know about. But bringing in a guy like Josh Hart, a guy who can, again, fundamentally change the game for you. There have been a lot of games that we've just lost sheerly based on the fact that we didn't have that extra play or two. And when you're talking about being productive in a game, it's not always about scoring, right? Of course, scoring is important. You need to put up numbers. You need to put the ball in the hole to win the game, of course, right? But a lot of times it's about who wants it more, who has the will to win the game, right? And Josh Hart, to me, seems like a guy that he can have 0 points, right? If Josh Hart scores 0 points, let's say in the next game, but he manages to have 10 rebounds and 5 assists and 2 steals, that is a great game. And that's the type of game that I would expect Josh Hart to have. Maybe not so much 0 points, of course. I will expect him to score. But it doesn't matter whether he put up 27 or whether he puts up 5. We know what Josh Hart is going to give us every single night. And I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Villanova thing is pretty easy to see, Thibodeau said. I think he has really good chemistry with Julius Randle as well. Again, they played together back when they were in LA. But the thing with Jalen, and he is to go through big moments and have the pressure of winning a national championship together. I think that ties you together with the group forever. Their bond is special. The thing I love about what Josh does for the team is it's for the team. Everything. Absolutely. Not to say that, guys on the team are selfish or anything like that, but, you have a couple of guys that have, sort of individualistic goals, and that's fine, especially if you're trying to become a standout in this league. You want to establish yourself. But again, Josh Hart is a guy where he'll do whatever you need him to do. He's a dog, as he said. If you need him to get dirty, if you need him to get rugged, if you just need him to go hack somebody and foul him, he'll do that for you as well. I think there's a lot of guys that score points in this league and they really don't impact winning the way Josh impacts winning. Now, call me crazy, but that quote from Thibodeau, I think he's directly taking a shot at a couple of people on this team, namely RJ Barrett, namely Obi Toppin, right? Specifically Obi Toppin, because lately Obi, I've been quite disappointed with his performances as of late, to be honest with you. Even though Obi is a guy I like a lot, he is seeming very one-dimensional at this point of time right now. I'm going to make a video later this week about Obi Toppin's status with the team, and we'll get into more details about how I feel on that. But yeah, again, we need winning players. We need high IQ winning players. Sometimes they're just tough plays, hustle plays, sprint back, steal the ball back. Plays like that give your team a lot of confidence. It's a lot of dirty work, but it's also the glue of your team. It helps you stick together. There's going to be ups and downs, of course, during a game, a season, and those types of guys, I think, are the type that help you build a winning culture. We're thrilled, obviously, to have them. Yes, again, the the ball is not always going to go in the hole. And when that doesn't happen, what do you do then? And I think this is part of the reason why, myself included, a lot of Knicks fans, we are having, quite a tough time with RJ Barrett because, we're not asking RJ to come out there and score 30 points a game. Absolutely not. We already got Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle that can take care of that for us. No problem. But with RJ, if you're not going to score, what else can you do to impact the game? Maybe it's a game where we just need you to, defend the guy, right? Just keep him at bay, not necessarily stop him, but keep him at bay, make it very difficult for him. And to me, at least this season, if he's not scoring, what else is he doing well? Yeah, he can rebound. Okay. The defense sucks right now. Scoring, again, every time he puts up a shot, I think it's going to be brick. And most of the time it is. He's not assisting the ball. He's not finding any weaknesses in the opposing defense, right? So it's like, what is RJ out there for? And this is exactly why he's been taken out of games in the fourth quarter. Now, this is going to be a continuing trend. This is going to be an ongoing thing. Clearly, Thibodeau loves Josh Hart. And as we've seen in these last couple of games, he's not going to be afraid to play Josh Hart. Josh Hart is going to play the fourth quarter every game. Absolutely. And it's going to come down to RJ and Grimes on whoever's playing well will get the nod for the fourth quarter, right? And speaking of that, right? Speaking of Quentin Grimes. Now, I've been hearing a lot of chatter, between Knicks fan bases and, Knicks circles on who should actually start. So one thing I did a couple of days ago, I made a poll for my subscribers. Now, this is a small sample size. I'm still in the process of growing the channel, so only 21 votes thus far. But the question that I, put out there was, who would you prefer to start for the Knicks? And according to 21 votes, let's look at the numbers. We see that we have Quentin Grimes at 52% and Josh Hart at 48%. So for the time being, it looks like Quentin Grimes, at least in the sample size that we have here, is favored to continue in the starting lineup. And while I think there are advantages for, Quentin starting or coming off the bench, or Josh Hart starting or coming off the bench, I'm actually on the side of Quentin Grimes staying in the starting lineup. And I'll tell you why. Because Quentin Grimes can either have a good game or he can have a bad game. That's not going to really offset anything in the starting lineup, right? And Quentin Grimes is still out there giving you good defense. His shot is not falling down, but he is still an expected knockdown three-point shooter. Now, with Josh Hart remaining on the bench, I would keep Josh Hart on the bench solely for this reason. I like Josh Hart's leadership as a veteran with that second unit. It's almost as if Josh Hart is going to take on the role that Derrick Rose had when he first came to the team. I think having Josh Hart out there with Emmanuel Quickley, especially Obi Toppin, I do a lot of paying attention to these interactions with players. And I see some exchanges between Josh Hart and Obi. And I see that Obi, really likes this guy. And Josh Hart is a team-friendly guy. So I see Josh Hart in a situation where he can help the bench and make very important plays, get Obi going, take a little bit of pressure off quickly. So I think currently Josh Hart is exactly where he needs to be. Now, of course, when it comes down to the end of the game and you're looking at the total minutes played and who's playing in crunch time, obviously Josh Hart is going to be in that lineup, towards the end of the game. So in reality, I guess it doesn't really matter who starts or who starts the game. It really matters who finishes. And clearly Josh Hart is going to finish games, pretty much all the time, I would imagine. But that's going to be the end of the video, guys. Again, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this conversation in terms of who you think would be better for the starting lineup. Again, I'm going to go with the public vote and go the Quentin Grimes route, even though I do think Josh Hart would fit right in with the starting lineup. But I like the way the team is playing right now. I don't think there's any reason to really break things off or really offset. Keep Grimes in the starting lineup. Let him figure out, get his shot back, and keep Hart where he is for now. I think come the playoffs is going to be a different situation, a different conversation to have. Maybe Josh Hart gets inserted to the starting lineup depending on who we're facing in our matchup in the first round. But again, for now, I think he's fine in the bench role. All right. But that's going to be all for the video, guys. I would love to hear your comments on this question. Catch you on a rebound. Peace.